Hello and welcome to the video associated with merging relations. So, as we've been talking about through the normal forms, most of the time what we're doing during that process is we are taking larger entities and breaking them down into smaller entities to avoid what are known as update anomalies and deletion anomalies and insert anomalies. Data anomalies. Here, the author wants to touch on the concept of merging relations. In other words, we're looking at all of the data that this institution has been keeping track of, and we realize that there may be entities whose data is repeated completely. So in other words, we're looking at maybe merging ER models. In earlier chapters, we talked about how, there could be multiple entities within an organization keeping track of the same data. Like we could have two different entities, the accounting department and the shipping department, all trying to keep track of customers. We could have payroll and human resources both trying to keep track of employees. So now, when we're combining, we're making an enterprise model, we need to take the entities that are distinct in those two areas and now bring them together because we're making an enterprise data model. So we have to combine those two entities. There are things we need to watch out for when we're merging entities from different ER models. For instance, the naming. Most of it has to do with naming. So if we talk about synonyms, we could have two more attributes that, the accounting department named it one thing, the shipping department named it something else. So they have two different names, but they both actually have the same data in them. So when we're analyzing the data, we need to look for that. Other things, another one associated with naming is homonyms. So two different things that have the same meaning. So we might have in one entity an attribute called name, which is really like the contact name for a customer, and in the other entity that a different area is maintaining, they have an attribute called name, which is actually the name of the customer's company. So we have to look out for that too. You can't just merge them together because now we would have non-homogeneous information in the same attribute. And then we talked about transitive dependencies. So even if relations are in the third normal form prior to merging, after you merge the data together, you have to analyze the entity or the relation to make sure that it doesn't have transitive dependencies in some way, shape, or form after putting two pieces of data together. And then the other thing that could be an issue is that we've got, again, two different areas merging their data together. We may lose the fact that there are supertypes and subtype relationships that we lose track of. And then suddenly we've got an orphaned entity, which is actually a subtype, and we don't know what supertype it was supposed to be related to. Or when merging the data together, the key values for the supertype get changed to something else, which means that the values in the supertype no longer link up with the subtype values. So we really those are things that you have to be careful about. So it's not just in normalization when you're breaking things down. Also associated with with chapter 4, we could also be merging things together, and when we're merging things together, there are issues to be aware of. So that is the end of the video lecture associated with merging relations.